Moving on to our next speaker for the evening. He has actually joined us from the Netherlands. He is Dr. Eric Laarakker. He's a director, Den Hoek, a holistic veterinarian, researcher, educator, and entrepreneur. His belief on water is that it's extremely significant for the health of not just humans, but all biological systems. Not many know that 90% of our molecules are actually water. Over the past 17 years, his extensive research has focused on exploring the benefits of coherent water on various biological systems. He has provided with clinical evidence demonstrating significant enhancements in human and animal life, as well as plant and soil well-being through the consumption of coherent water. His topic for today is health benefits of coherent water. Coherent water is provided by Samarka. So over to you, sir. Please give your insights on the same.
Thank you so much for having me over here. I'll try to share my screen. Let me see, where is my presentation?
Okay, if you're not able to find out, then I can share it for you. So that's it.
1 second.
Should I share my screen?
1 second.
Yeah. Please take your time.
There it is.
I can see your screen.
Can you see now?
Yeah, I can see now. Yes, please go ahead.
Okay, thank you so much for having me over here. I'm going to have a talk about the benefits of coherent water. And many people don't really understand how water function, what the function of water is actually in our body. Well, at school we learned that 70% of our body actually is water, but in practice, 99% of our molecules are water. If that's the case, then it means that it plays a very, very important role in our body. We personally think one of the most important roles that, there's almost nothing to find in your body, nowhere where water plays the key role in almost everything. I would like to share a small film, and hopefully the sound works. This is from Gina Breyer, a friend of mine, and she does a lot of research in water, just to show you a little bit how important water is in our body.
You can hear the audio. Yeah.
Water is far more abundant than we thought. Water is hidden around us everywhere. Water isn't only blue, it's also green, found inside all living plants. It's brown too, occupying volume in soils, roots, fungi, mycelium. Water runs all living systems. It's everywhere. We think of water as liquid, vapor, or even ice. But the most abundant form of water is in a form we are only just identifying, the gel-like or plasma state found in all cells. And we ourselves are far more made of water than we thought. Let me show you. Let me take you inside yourself and show you the first living images we've ever had of water inside the body. This is a video from Dr. Jean-Claude Gimbartot showing what our living tissues actually look like close up. See how much we are water, how water repairs and rejoins our tissues, water in both liquid and plasma form, transporting not only hydration, but energy. The fuel for living is actually water. Water energy runs all life. See how the web-like connective material, so gossamer, so beautiful, actually holds us together. It's a network of building material and fuel transport at the same moment. And it's doing a third task. This plasma-like, gel-like network is receiving and sending information, bioelectric, biochemical, making water actually digital, making hydration our interface between the world inside us and the world outside us. But water must be in motion to do its work. Water in this way ignites life and connects the whole, connects the inside to the outside. To share this new understanding called a movement in water, it will be a space to experience water.
So that was actually from Gina. So she made beautiful pictures of films inside, you know, in the connective tissue, how water plays a key role. The next, I would like you to show you a little bit of a work of John Stuart Reid, who invented the cymoscope, and where they inject sound and frequency into water. And you can see what beautiful images will come out of it. So actually, John Stuart Reid did a lot of beautiful work on the influence of energy frequency on water. And I'm going to show you the next slide, how water actually we think it works. On the left side, you see a chaotic state of water. What does it mean? It means that the molecules, they just move at randomly, and there's not a lot of energy into it. If you manage to let the molecules work together, it becomes like what we call a coherent state. Coherent state is actually an idea out of the quantum physics, where they saw when things work together, when the molecules start working together, they come at a complete different state. They have a lot of more energy into it. I personally like to compare it with a laser light. You know, when we have normal light, it's chaotic light. But when you let the biophotons work together in the same wave, it becomes like, you know, a laser with a lot of more power into it. The same is with water. Almost all the water that we found on this planet is in a coetic state. So if you manage to let work all the molecules together, it starts to behave like a liquid crystal. And that's very important. If you realize, if you think about the first radios that we have, it was called a crystal radio. Crystal can receive and store and give information. And that's very important in our body. Another person who did a lot of work on it was Jerry Pollack. And he wrote a beautiful book, The Fourth Phase of Water. And it's water in its crystalline form. Actually, we are just clever water. Going to show you some of the work of it. I mean, we see this every time and we don't realize what's happening over there. You know, when drops fall on the water, it's actually quite peculiar that, you know, the drops, they stay on the water and not go down. That has to do with what we call coherent domains, exclusion zone water. So what happens actually is that the water becomes a gel interface that creates an exclusion zone. And these are coherent domains, they're called in quantum physics. So what happens when light shines on actually on water. Show you the next slide. If you see over here that particles solved in water, on the left side, you see a very hydrophilic naphion. And what happens if you turn on the light? You see that the particles are retrieving. The inner part we call exclusion zone. And actually it's very negative loaded. And the next part, the right part, is positive loaded. And that actually explains a lot also on how viscosity work in your blood cells and almost everything. Next slide. And another very important part, I'm going to put everything together just in a minute, is of course the human microbiome. Already many talks have been talked about it, and we are. What I like to say to my students is, we are actually a colony of bacteria in a pool of water run by the cosmos, and water plays a key role, most important role in our whole body to connect that together. We did many research for the last 17 years on it. For me personally, I consider mitochondria also as a part of the microbiome. 2 years ago, I think 3 years ago, it has been proved that mitochondria actually are bacteria before. So for me, that's part of the whole system, and we have 500 to 7,000 mitochondria in our cells, and also they produce coherent water by themselves. And it's called metabolic water. About 11% of your body water is actually being produced by your own body. Water is a broadband absorber for all electromagnetic frequencies, all the electromagnetic energy which is around us. We live on this planet because we have an atmosphere around us. And this atmosphere actually absorbs 70% of the incoming harmful energy. Water is a broadband absorber for all electromagnetic fields and probably also for the quantum field. If you look at this graph, you see that from the left side, this is cosmic gamma, X-rays. Then it goes down in UV and the visible light. That means that almost everything, and here from infrared, it goes up again. Almost everything is being absorbed by water, only not the visible light and part of the UV. And actually, that's very handy. Otherwise, it would be dark on this planet. Now, if you would push the whole atmosphere in a liquid state, then you only would have 3 centimeters of water. So now go back to the thought that 99% of the molecules in your body is water. That means actually that your body is a broadband absorber for all the electromagnetic fields and probably for the quantum fields. And like has been said in the quantum physics, not matter, but quantum information is the building block of everything. So water helps you to build your body. And like Einstein said concerning matter, we've all been wrong. What have been called matter is really energy. And there is no matter, there is only light and sound. And as Nikola Tesla said, if you want to find the secret of the universe, think in terms of energy, frequency, and vibration. Life is created by water and light, and of course the microbiome. Now I'm going to talk a little bit about the science we did. We did many, well, over 100 pages of science. We did the last couple of years. We did research in plants, in soil, in human beings, in animals, and almost everything. And I'm going to share just a few of the research that we did. First, we found that there's an increase in the cellular activity and ATP levels. It was a double-blind placebo clinical study, and it was just to see if, you know, just by drinking different water, if it would have an impact on the ATP levels. And actually, we found that the ATP levels had a rise in only 60 days of drinking 1.5 liter analemma water. There was a rise of 28%, almost 29% in the analemma group and 7% in the placebo group. So that proved that there's a lot of things going on, and actually the mitochondria react on the structure of water. Another study that we did is a glycanage study. Well, glycans are sugar molecules attached to proteins. The main antibody protein of the human immune system, the immunoglobulins, can be marked with different glycans. And that which determines whether the proteins will be anti-inflammatory or pro-inflammatory. The balance between them is very important. A shift to pro-inflammatory glycans will lead to low-grade systemic infections, and that which underlies, of course, the faster aging and risk of a disease. So, a group of people, 21 people, were testing, and we found that after 3 months drinking Samarca analemma water, there was a revitalization of 99% of 1 to 12 year in a biological age in almost all of the participants. Then, and the next thing what we did is that we did a microbiome study, a double-blind placebo-controlled study again, and it came to up to, so the people we tested the gut flora before, then again, double-blind placebo-controlled people drink their water for 1.5 months. It was for, sorry, 1.5 liter for 2 months. And there was an average of 70% improvement of the microbiome index, dysbiose index. Actually, there was 83% dysbiose index group in the analemma group and a 36% rise also in the placebo group. But in the placebo group, there was 62 people had actually a worsening or no change in the placebo group. Also, there was a 50% improvement of the pathogen bacteria index in analemma group. Also, we did many brainwave studies, and so we used the EEG on people, tested them before, then we let them drink a glass of water, see what happens and how much time it would take before there were changes. And the funny thing is actually the changes were almost instantly after drinking the water. We think personally the nervus vagus has to do with that. This is one of the studies that we did. We did an identical twin. One of them drank one normal water, and the other twin, they drink the Coherent water. And almost immediately, we saw the changes of the one who drank the analemma water, and not with the other person. After a while, of course, we changed it, and then the other person got a lot more harmonic brain waves than the one who was drinking normal water. So it gave them a positive difference in the balance between the left and the right side of the brain. We did what you see also when you drink the analemma water when there's a lot of radiation, the cell phone radiation. What we actually did, we gave them a phone and we measured the EEG when they were drinking. When they were putting the phone on the head for 2 minutes call. And actually what you see, I'm gonna, next slide, you see on the left side, this is like normal. And everything which is red, which you can see over there, is out of balance brain activity. After in the middle, you can see what happens when you put your phone on your head in a 2 minutes call. You see a lot more red on the EEG. So that means a lot of more harmful frequencies going on over there. And immediately after drinking the glass of water on the right side, you see that it harmonizes again. This was a study on one person for Alzheimer's disease. On the left side, you see with Alzheimer itself, there's a lot of red in it, so the brains are a little bit out of order. And in the middle, it even got worse when they put a phone on the head. On the right side, you saw the immediate improvement after drinking just 1 glass of water. Now, actually, in the start, when we started off 17 years ago, we bought a whole greenhouse, a 1.5 hectare greenhouse in the center of the Netherlands. And we started off testing on biophotons. Biophotons, it's an invention of Professor Fritz Bopp from Germany. And he had a whole laboratory in Neuss. When he stopped with it, we moved the whole laboratory to the Netherlands with all the people who work over all the scientists who work over there. And we start testing on tomatoes, cucumbers, and everything. And because they're easier to test, you can put them, how it works, you put them in a dark chamber and you see how much light is actually emitted from it. And probably this light is produced when a production on ATP is being done by the mitochondria. Well, we saw on the left side, delayed luminescence means that you put actually, you give them some light in the tomatoes, and then you see how it holds its light and how much light is being emitted. So on the control group, there's a huge difference between a control group and a treated one and how much biophotons were actually in the tomatoes. On the right side, you see that when you give the light, it's very important that the system holds its light. So as long as it holds its light, that's better for your health. If you would like doing images on biophotons on a tumor cell, you would see that it loses a lot of biophotons over there, a lot of light. So this one proves over there that the tomato holds its light for a long time. It had a very slow decay according to normal tomatoes. Down here you see the spontaneous emission. So the spontaneous emission of light actually was a lot higher with the tomatoes, and we saw this over and over and over again. We tested this on cucumbers. Also, all of them were double-blind tested by the researchers. Well, we found that the seedlings were a lot stronger. Actually, they contain the seedlings themselves. So there's more 50% to 100% more light in the seedlings. How we did this, we built a carousel with 24 dark chambers in it. And at randomly, we gave them analemma water or normal water. And then the computer was just measuring every time how much light has been emitted from there. So, I mean, there's more than 100 pages on research of it. And one of course, we did was a customer survey result, and 70% improved, thought they had an improved immunity, 73% improved digestion, 87% so less anxiety, improved health, 70%, the taste of the water, 73% of the respondent, they found that the water changed. It becomes more fresh, more sweet, and a little bit more viscous. 87% found that they're a lot more hydrated. And actually, that's quite funny because if you start drinking the water, in the beginning, you start drinking more water because you need more. But after a while, you can cut down on how much water you drink. Actually, in the latest tests, which are not over here, we did in Croatia, we found that we could cut down the water about 40% giving to the plants. So the water becomes far more efficient in your body when it's more coherent. So it increases cellular energy, revitalizes your immune system, boosts anti-inflammatory pathways, improves your gut health, positive effect on brain waves, and numerous positive effects on animal, plants, but it also seems to work quite well on your mind. Thank you so much. Any questions?
Yes. Can you please unshare the screen?
Sorry.
There's certain questions in the chat group that what is the difference between analemmas, structured water, and EZ water?
Well, there's a lot of discussion about going on in science, because coherent water and easy water is not completely the same. And easy water is one anomaly of water, which is very important, like I said, because even in blood vessels, on the sides of your blood vessel, you have the easy zone water, which is very important because if you give infrared light to the water, the easy zone becomes bigger and the water starts flowing by itself. Coherent water itself is not the same as easy water. Probably first they thought it was the same, but now more and more people who are busy scientifically with water, they think it's something else. Coherent water is a theory out of electroquantum dynamics. So actually nobody knows exactly how it functions, and also the idea of that it's the structuring that it forms a crystalline structure is a theory, but so that's why the reason why we start testing in animals and plants and human beings, because the most important thing, of course, is to find out what it does in your body.
Mm.
So it's probably not the same, but be honest, nobody knows.
Are there any ways to, yes, definitely we'll be putting the information from where to get the Samarka coherent water. We'll be putting that on the group chat as well. Are there any ways how you can differentiate the coherent water from the structured water? So, are there benefits?
Well,
Yeah, yeah. Please go ahead.
yes, I think the coherent water and structured water, I think we talk about the same thing.
Yeah. Okay.
Some people call it structured water, some people call it coherent water. I mean, it's what's the name used, but I really like to use the coherent water, the third term coherent water, because it's a quite well underlaid theory from the Italian physicist Del Gudici,
Okay.
who came up with this term coherent water, which explains a lot more what is out there than the other theories.
Any patients that you have seen or have treated and have found that it has taken some period of time to reverse their conditions, or complete reversal has been possible?
Yes,
Yeah. Can you
yes,
please give
and
some examples or case studies? Yeah.
yes, yes. There's I mean, of course, all the clients we treat them with the water also, but it's part of the whole system. And it's not that I think, if you drink the water, your cancer will be gone or stuff like that. It's part of the treatment.
Okay.
And what we found is that actually the normal treatments, like with acupuncture, herbal medicine, homeopathy, it works a lot faster if you use the analemma water. Almost doubles the speed of recovering from illness.
Uh, is there any way there is a question by a practitioner here that what is the dosage like how many pens have to be given, or how is the dosage that you set upon while giving the water?
If I understand correct, the dosage, I mean, we drink all the water. What we drink actually is that coherent water.
Coherent water only.
Yeah.
So, like how much do you put the coherent water in the normal water, or just keep taking the coherent
Yes,
water only?
the system is quite simple. There's this called the analemma device, which you can build it in your house, in to stables and used for agriculture. And there's what we call an analemma wand. You just swirl it in the water, and the water will be coherent in a couple of seconds.
Okay. So I guess that's coherent. Yeah. So that's the questions. That are the only questions, sir. Nothing else. Uh, as you have already answered that, how you differentiate from the normal water, Mustafa, you have already got your answer on the same. Uh, there's one question as well. Does one become dependent on this water? What if you're using it for some months and for some reason you discontinue? Will it show any kind of adverse effects? I know the answer, but you please answer for the same. Yeah.
Well, yeah, not immediately, but of course, after a while, I also drink like normal water. Not always there is like when I forget my analemma wand or something like that. And it's not, that the good you have been doing before will be done in a second. I mean, it will tell how much time it will take. I don't know, because a lot of body actually water stays in your body.
Hmm.
And because when most of the body water is coherent, then it'll take a while before everything will be different. So you don't need to panic if you don't have it there for. I was on holiday for a week and I forgot about it, so I drink 1 week normal water, and a person didn't notice any change in a week. Another thing is I don't like to drink that water. If you get used to the taste of the analemma water, it becomes hard to drink normal water.
Yeah. Thank you so much for answering all the questions, sir. I guess you have put everything up. Thank you for joining us from Netherlands. I know you are way back on the timings.
Thank you.
Thank you so much for attending the conference. Thank you. It
Thank you
was
for
a great
having me over
pleasure
here.
having you
Thank you
here.
so much.
Thank you so much.